Today, I don't have coffee, but I have an energy drink. Ooh, the Emmy lore thickens. I like world building and character creation, so today I will be presenting my OC, Jenna. But before I do, I would like to encourage you to go watch another video of mine where I present my character Reese, because this is kind of like a part 2 to that video. This character is in the same universe as Reese, and it's a pretty detailed universe. It's not set in like the real world or anything, so I go in depth explaining the setting in this other video, and I'm just gonna assume that you know all that info already in this video. So if you don't, it's fine, you just may be a bit confused. I am still going to give somewhat of a recap, if you will. So, previously on my OCs! This story is set in a dystopian world where the world is divided into nations, or like big cities that are all controlled by this organization called the Happiness Department, and they are based on an ideology saying that society should only be made of happy people, and anyone who shows any negative emotions should be isolated and sent to a banned area outside of the cities. And inside the cities, there's all the classic fun dystopia stuff: oppression, encouraging people to witch hunt others, anything different is hated, you know, classic stuff. And that's about it for the story recap. Now to present Jenna. Her full name is Jennabean, same family name as Reese because they're siblings. At first, I literally got my own OC's age wrong when I made her for the first time. She was 14, and for the longest time she was 14, and I didn't even plan on changing her age, but I literally misremembered it, and at some point I said she was 16 in the last video. So now, I guess she's 15, right in between the two, but her age isn't that important. It's like teen, yeah, somewhere in the teens. What I do know, though, is that her birthday is on July 18th. She has no canon ethnicities, just like Reese, and she's a girl, uses she, her pronouns, even though we all know that she's actually a bean, a cinnamon roll, if you will. She's overall, personality-wise, shy and anxious, except when she spends time with her friends, then she's really happy and cheerful all the time. So she's an ambivert, because she does like spending time with friends, but she kind of has a difficult time when it's people she doesn't really know very well. So she does want to have lots of friends, but she's not the best at like initiating a friendship. She's trying her best. And she's actually like that because of some fun self-doubt and self-hatred that she has bottled up. Yay, she's one of those OCs who has like edgy issues. But more on that later. It all makes sense considering like her story and the events happening, but I'm rambling. I should probably actually explain them, huh? So, her being the youngest sibling, she became an orphan at a very young age. Like, Reese was already, like, a tween almost. I think he was around 8 or 9. That's, like, end of childhood, beginning of tweenhood. But she was, like, a literal toddler, like, very small. And she was speaking is difficult. And she was raised by Reese, basically, her older brother. But Reese isn't adult-aged, so, yeah, he tried his best, but, a child shouldn't have the responsibilities of a parent. Like, sure, they had relatives help out, but it was mainly Reese who was there in her life as, like, a supportive figure. Now that Reese is an adult, she knows that his job is very, very important. I've talked about it in Reese's video. So he has to spend a lot of time doing his job. And like even before he started working, he was in the equivalent of like higher education, so he hasn't been the most present in her life. And like any normal person, she would rather have his attention because like she loves him and he's family. So she knows that she would kind of be getting in his way and she really wants him to do his important job. But on the other hand, he's family, and like any normal person, she wants to have contact with her family. So she kind of blames herself for all of this, and it's part of her bottled up self-hatred. She's like, oh no, how dare I be selfish? I shouldn't be thinking about myself when my brother is working for our dear government. But also, I'm kinda lonely though. And she does have friends that she could talk about her problems to. That didn't make grammatical sense. She has friends who she could talk to about these sad emotions. But plot twist, that isn't actually a plot twist because this is kind of obvious considering the story setting. She can't do that because she lives in a dystopia. So she's an example of someone whose life is miserable because of this shitty dystopia. Kind of difficult for me to segue from such a dark point, but I guess segment over, childhood trauma story over. Now let's move on to her likes and dislikes. Yay! Well, she really likes her friends and family. She likes pets. I haven't really decided yet, because I entertained the idea of giving Reese and Jenna a cat, but I don't know if that would be a good idea or not. No canon answers to that yet, but potential cat, yes. She likes cute things. She likes enjoying and discovering new food. She likes it when other people make decisions for her, because making big decisions is a dislike of hers. And she also likes this online influencer called Noraberry, who I may or may not be presenting in a future OC video. Ooh. Anyways, she dislikes compliments. Funny story, in my notes for Reese, the first entry in his likes is compliments, and for Jenna, the first entry in her dislikes is compliments. Anyways, she dislikes big choices, and she dislikes being in the spotlight in social situations because she kind of panics in big social settings. Her fears are losing her friends and family, so like the people the most important to her, because, well, she became an orphan, so I guess people around her dying is part of that, but also she doesn't want her friends to abandon her or drift away from her. She doesn't really have any of the classic fears, funnily enough. Like, you'd think she's a scaredy cat, but she's not. She's not afraid of, like, bugs or the dark or anything. I guess she does have, like, a fear of crowds or, like, being in public. She does like spending time with other people, like she's an ambivert, but she kind of is vibing on the side, enjoying the presence of friends. She doesn't want to be the life of the party. And for her habits, she keeps a sort of digital photo diary, basically like a place to put all her fond memories of her and her friends. And she looks through it anytime she wants to bottle up negative emotions. She's like, ignore the sad, remember you have nice friends. You may be wondering who these mysterious friends I keep mentioning are. I don't really talk a lot about them in this video because they will get their own OC presentation videos at some point. So yeah, parentheses over. So yeah, that's about her as a character. And now about her role in the story. But for that, I am going to go on a school system tangent. Yay! She is still in the educational system of this universe, in something called development school. Basically, they have different stages of education. When you're a child, you go to basic school and you learn how to human 101, like reading, writing, basic mathematics, stuff like that. And then you move on to development school, where basically you're supposed to find a career or like a place for you to contribute to society. And it's also where the fun little oppressive government gaslights children into being like, yes, child, this is how you do the society, this is how you take part in this fun little dystopia. But the specific goal is for you to be sent into the next stage of education, which is like a specialized school. Like, for example, before becoming a part of the happiness department, Reese went to the happiness department, like formation. I forgot my own technical words, but Reese went to the happiness department's like educational system. Anyways, Jenna is still in development school, even though at her age most people are already out of development school. So that also contributes to like her putting pressure on herself and her teachers putting pressure on her because, you know, she's supposed to become a member of society soon. Ooh. Because of all that, she's kind of eager to find like a passion of hers or a career path that she wants to pursue. So I guess this is her current goal in life. Find something to do. Something we all struggle with, huh? And I guess also like get out of development school and succeed in life. Because yeah, the small little thing I forgot to mention, people who are deemed like not a part of society, like if they're not doing their part, they can also be labeled as unhappy because of that. Like, yeah, sure, you don't have to necessarily show negative emotion for that to happen, but they would be like, oh, you're not contributing to society, so that must mean that it's related to you not vibing with the happy system, or like you not being happy with your job, which is terrible because you're supposed to be happy with everything in life, including your job. So basically, if you don't do your job correctly, or if you don't have a career, then you're not happy and you get yeeted outside of cities. So Jenna has that little pressure on her as well, and it's contributing to her self-hatred because obviously she blames herself for not finding a job to do in her life. And you may be wondering, yes, this all makes sense, but this plotline so far is not the most related to whatever is going on with Reese. And that's because it's true. Jenna is kind of the second protagonist of the story, and she has her own things going on in parallel with whatever Reese has going on. So the story is kind of divided into two main storylines that, you know, may or may not connect later. And I can't really explain what happens in hers because unlike Reese's, it doesn't really need any setup, it just kind of starts with something spoilery, but it may or may not be related to how Jenna is feeling a lot of bottled up negative emotions in a society where it's literally illegal to feel negative emotions. So, fun! And that's all I have to say about Jenna. And now I'm going to move on to my Q&A section, where I ask you guys if you have any questions about my OCs over on my Instagram. So if you want to have questions for any future OC videos, then follow me on there. Ooh, self-promo. But yeah, let's start. So, first question, what's her personality and what are her pronouns? Well, first of all, her pronouns are she, her, and I've already talked about her personality, but I guess this is an occasion for me to describe it in a nutshell. In a nutshell, she's an anxious bean who tries her best. Will she ever dye her roots? It's stressing me out. Oh no. Well, when I first designed her hair was supposed to be like a smaller gradient, like from her natural hair color to the teal blue color she has going on. But just for you, here's an edit of her hair being one color. There you go. What's her favorite pet? As I said earlier, she really likes all pets, like even the less common one, like the feathery ones or the scaly ones. But I'd say her favorite is definitely like a fluffy one, maybe like a chinchilla. And that was it for basically everything. Here's all you need to know about Jenna. I hope you liked her as much as I do because she's a bean. YouTube stuff, check stuff in description. If you want to know more about feature OCs, I present them every month. Then subscribe. It feels so weird, like, asking people to subscribe. I'm still not used to it. Anyways, next month is going to be another OC, and if you still haven't watched Reese's video, then I encourage you to do so because he's in the same story as Jenna. So yeah, I'm rambling. Anyways, that's enough said. Bye, stuff like that. Yay!